saw that. Should probably stop saying that. Just took my test. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel kind of good. Maybe a B, hopefully an A. Uh, I think I probably should have just reread the chapters that I had troubles with. It was on binary search trees, heaps, and like different types of um, ways you can make data simulate real life events. So queues, list. So a queue is like whenever you're in line waiting for a ticket, first in, first out, right? And so essentially, the first person in line gets served the most, and he leaves, and the next person, etc., etc. And you can represent that in your data structure or creating a data structure that represents that scenario. By creating something that when you add a new entry to it, it's the first thing in the structure, and then every single entry after that gets put behind it, right? And then whatever is, whenever something gets, whenever you remove an entry from the structure, the first thing gets taken out. So first in, first out. So it was that, and then like list is like whenever you write down a list and you want to do this, blah 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 blah, and how like it's more in a way it's kind of, well, there are like different types of lists: the sorted list and the regular list. One list, a list like the regular list is essentially sorted by position, meaning when you add an entry, you actually are supposed to state where you want to put it in the list. And a sorted list is ordered by value, meaning um, there is a field whenever you add the entry in which you put the priority, like how from most important to least important, and based on that, the list gets so. Oh, sorry, I actually completely fucked that up. The sorted list, it organizes things by value, meaning you don't give it a priority number or whatever, but rather, if for example you have a list of names, right? Well, if it's there's Bob, there's Ben, there's Steven, there's Tom, there's Xavier, there's Zoe, there's Jennifer, Katie. Keep going, keep going. All of these names get um, organized alphabetically. So they call that it's sorted by value, meaning whatever the entry name is dictates where it's going to be. So it's like it was a whole test on that, and I think the issue I had the most was just when it came to trees, how like there's ways in which you can actually, in a way, kind of shape the way you go through data. Like you can essentially dictate what gets sorted first. Like it's actually pretty cool when you think about it. That like we can make a multi-dimensional representation of something that's so on some level kind of linear or abstract, or yeah, more linear, right? So like you can, it was just it's actually, I feel like even my talking about it kind of makes me realize how much I even somewhat struggled with understanding it. It wasn't so much that I didn't know it, but there are like just certain parts of it where I felt unsure about, like um, difference between, because there were questions asking you, okay, okay, this there take out the highest value in this tree, and then what does it look like? And like I know I got those wrong, right? I felt pretty good about them, but sometimes there are parts of me where. So how I usually like to take tests is I try to solve all the ones I know first, right? And then like anything I kind of have I'm challenged by, I skip it and I come back later. So I think what I'm saying is what I'm having trouble the most with are the ones where I skipped it initially. And even though I actually felt incredibly good, like now that I'm recalling the test, like my emotions, memory, me sitting down, taking the test, I felt really good about the answers I put down. I think on some level I was kind of just a little bummed at myself or disappointed at myself for not having known them initially right off the bat. But yeah, so it's like trees, just like um, they're essentially ways of organizing information in a way that it's organized. So, like, say, organized with a somewhat of a geometric nature to it. So the nature or the shape of a tree, right? So you have a list, or yeah, you have a list of data, and every time you add data to this tree or this structure, you're using a particular way of doing it, right? So one of them is making sure that everything. So they call so say like there are stuff called nodes, which is essentially um, think of a. I think of it as like uh, an access point that it contains data, but at the same time there are more data holders after it, and I think that's probably why it kind of gets a little weird. Just like going from thinking about things like in this way to like this way and that way and that way and that way. So like nodes have children, which are essentially the data points after them, right? And then leaves are nodes without children. So leaves are just data points, and there's nothing that follows after that. And like there's a way of even traversing this tree structure, this data structure, like um, pre-order, in order, and then post-order. Pre-order is going from left downwards, working your way across, and then coming back up, coming across um, to the other side, and coming back up. And just to kind of go back, they call so the first data point is at the top, and everything after that they're called subtrees because if you saw a picture of it, which I might just insert it here. It kind of makes a lot of sense. So there's a left subtree and a right subtree. So there's a left child and a right child, and then like so pre-order is going down this way, working your way across to the other subtree, and then work your way up. In order is actually going by value. So you go through the whole thing and then you align it. So if there's numbers like 60, 70, 10, 40, 30, it just finds the value, or it finds the data points that go in that ascending order and accesses them in that way. So we're talking about something like if you were to display the data in this structure. So that's what I mean by traversing, or why you would have to traverse, or even if you were to like say remove the highest value in the structure, right? You would essentially follow that way of going through it. And then post order is like starting from the bottom and then kind of like working your way up, bottom, right, and then across. So it's actually really cool when you think about it, just how like our minds are even capable of spinning shit like that and think of it in a completely different way. But there was just it's the end of school, so even though I finished all the reading and I did all the homework, there were parts of the chapter, parts of the reading where I kind of felt like, not that it was redundant, but it almost seemed like there was something missing, or it almost seemed like it didn't flow with one another, and so you kind of felt less engaged, actually delve in, or maybe it was just not as well explained as it could have. Like maybe that's probably it. Like if they use more visuals to like really illustrate what they were talking about and less words, it probably would make more sense, especially with that type of particular topic. But overall, I don't know. Got that out the way. So, um, now I still have to finish. We have to present the robot um, for my class on Thursday. Actually, have it with me. For some reason, the fucking Arduino IDE is really bad when it comes to importing libraries. Like you created your own library to use a component. It's just really bad at recognizing it and running it execute properly. So that's literally what's stopping us from being able to say that our robot fully works, even though I'm pretty sure we know we did. So initially, like our robot would actually sense way ahead of it, and then like it wouldn't felt like it didn't react quick enough when something wasn't in front of it. So we changed the value of that variable, which is max distance and then reaction time in the code. So we decreased reaction time so it reacts faster, and then we decreased the distance so it senses things. It's closer to something first before stopping. Because I mean, you don't want it to sense like a wall that's like all the way over there and then just stop, you know. So I'm actually really excited to see it working. I'll probably knock it out. Maybe just work on it today, and then I might probably meet up with our squad mate tomorrow. Squad mate Steven. Yeah, there's two Stevens in this squad. That's fucking funny. So that's been that, and then kind of decided since everything else is kind of slowly taken care of, probably gonna try to just up the fucking programming swag. Like just do more, because like I still have to finish an app. Like there's two apps that I've been wanting that are in the works, have not been touched for like ages, and like I kind of just want to get it done just to at least say that I completed it, and then kind of see how it works. And so one's like an accounting one, and the other one, I don't know if I'll finish it because at first I was thinking of doing something for One Wave, so it would be like a feed for One Wave, but then I don't know if it's even worth the hassle of because I think I feel like on some level it's cool when people are on their Facebook and they see it. So I don't know if people would want to like have it on their phone, but I think I might just finish it just for the hell of it. So we'll see what happens. So that's been that, and then probably really go hard with the free code camp overview. Trying to learn JavaScript, which is really an interesting language, and PHP. That way I have a good base to delve into WordPress programming, because that's ultimately what I kind of want to delve into. I think it's really cool. Maybe not create my own functions or stuff, but just be able to get into the meat of it and see how it works. Like be able to read the language. I don't know if I'm too interested in doing some theme development, but I think it's more just to have a more in-depth understanding of how it works, being able to like just provide value to people on a deeper level, and I don't know, be able to like modify it to what I want to do. Like right now, there's nothing pressing, really. That's like making me want to. There's nothing at the moment with WordPress that I really want to edit, but I can see how it would be ridiculously beneficial. So that's been that. So yeah, it's 3:53 Monday. Wonder what it'll be like today. I go play soccer, probably work out. So yeah, that's me. Hope you guys got something out of this. And as always, swag fuck out.
Super Mario. T.